You have a PowerPoint, Jason?
"390" will be the song after the invitation here. What got me thinking about it the other day, I was thinking about how we worship and how other churches worship. And I saw something. I don't remember what the story was that I saw, but it was something. But some church somewhere in the United States was doing, and I was just it made me cringe. I don't remember what it was now, but that part I have forgotten. But it got me thinking about in Deuteronomy chapter 12, verse 8. Moses is speaking to Israel in the wilderness, of course. Verse 8 says, you shall not at all do as we are doing here today, every man doing whatever is right in his own eyes. He's talking about worship. And you go back to verse 1 of Deuteronomy chapter 12, it says, these are the statutes and judgments which you shall be careful to observe in the land which the Lord God of your fathers is giving you to possess all the days that you live on the earth. You shall utterly destroy all the places where the nations which you shall dispossess served their gods, on the high mountains and on the hills and under every green tree. And you shall destroy their altars, break their sacred pillars, and burn their wooden images with fire. You shall cut down the carved images of their gods and destroy their names from that place. You shall not worship the Lord your God with such things. And I was thinking, that's very strong and specifically worded, how what they were to do and what they were not to do and what they should really be against. And it seems like to me that a lot of things that we do in this life today in 2025, which sometimes it's even hard to believe when you say that out loud, you get to a certain age. And I can remember when we would look at see the year 2000 coming, it sounded like science fiction. It was just like, that's so far off, that'll never get here. And then it did, and now it's gone. We don't even think about it anymore. But there's so many things that are overcomplicated, just to be overcomplicated. And I think we have people who are in religion today, in some different types of churches that want to overcomplicate worship in order to sort of set people to where they have to feel like they have to be going there, they have to be doing what they're doing there, they have to be following what they're saying there, and it's almost for business reasons. It's for the idea that you build this loyalty, this understanding that this is the way it works, and people get into this way where they're worshiping the speaker and not the message anymore. They're following that person. They're not following God. They're hearing 99% of what they should be hearing, but 1%'s not there, or maybe even more is not there. We have to be very careful that we don't allow these things to get complicated. And I think we do that in a lot of facets of our lives. I was thinking about that the other day, listening to the Sunday morning lesson, that we hear a straight, direct sermon of the truth, and there's not fireworks going off up here. We have Christmas coming. You'll see online, you'll see different videos of Christmas shows in the church where things are flying through the ceiling and people are flying out in the audience. I mean, that really happens. It's not just something people make up. These are, big shows and productions. Are like Broadway shows people put on. And that really, to me, has no place in the church. I don't think we need that. I don't think we need to go into it thinking, well, we're going to be entertained for 30 minutes or for an hour or for 2 hours. We're not going to a show. We want to hear the message, and we want to hear the truth. And as simple as it is, a lot of people don't seek that. They seek to be entertained. They seek to be distracted in some way and to kind of come together, entertainment, really. It comes down to, and there's many verses we could use here, but Colossians 3:16 says, "Let the word of Christ dwell in you richly in all wisdom, teaching and admonishing one another in psalms and hymns and spiritual songs, singing with grace in your hearts to the Lord." It sounds very simple. It doesn't sound complicated at all how we're supposed to come together and worship. In Titus 2:1, it tells me what to do when I'm speaking to you. It says, "Speak the things which are proper for sound doctrine." I'm not going to get up here and embellish. I'm not going to get up here and deceive, hopefully, not accidentally or on purpose. You know, when we come up here and we speak, we study and we proofread and we go back and we do it again and we do it again. And we want to make sure that we're accurate in what we're saying. And that if it's outside of what the Bible says I should be saying, then I shouldn't be up here saying it. And I shouldn't be also not saying things I should be saying and leaving things wide open to where you have to make your own judgment and go in your own direction. We should be proper, and we should define exactly what we're supposed to do. And there should be no gray area, especially in something as important as, at the end of this life on earth, do we want to be in heaven, or do we want to risk the possibility of not being there because we didn't do something right and maybe we were deceived in our Christian lives? And I think that can happen to people if they're not careful. John 4:23 tells us, but the hour is coming and now is when the true worshipers will worship the Father in spirit with truth, for the Father is seeking such to worship him. Wants the true worshipers. And I put that in bold here. You can't see that, but I thought that was the key word in all of that. We have to follow the truth, and we have to do what's expected of us, and we have to be true in our worship. We're not here for appearance. I've told the story before that I had a friend that switched churches, and he told me there was more people to network with at the other church. That's why he switched to a bigger church, not in the Church of Christ, but in a different denomination. But that was his reasoning. He wanted to network. He wanted to meet other business people, and he used it to do that. And that's how a lot of people can think if they have worldly things on their minds, and that's the priority in their lives. So you have to be careful of that. We don't come together here to seek worldly things. We don't come together to seek entertainment. We don't come together to seek food. It's amazing how much mail we get even here, where there's different things other churches are doing, and one of the highlights is after whatever they're doing, stay for ice cream, or stay for lunch, or stay for supper, or I think one of them earlier in the summer was hot dogs and hamburgers, and free meal. Don't have to. You won't see them in Peking because they don't have to be in Peking after the church service. They're eating right there. They're grilling out, and that's really not why we should be here. For the grilling out or the networking or who we're going to shake hands with or who we're going to meet. We're here to seek the truth, and it's unadorned, and it's not flashy, it's not fancy, uh, and it's not altered. We shouldn't alter it in order to. I shouldn't want you to think a certain way to benefit me, or to believe a certain thing in order to prop me up and make me feel more important, because I'm certainly not. And when we come here, we need to be pure of the distortion of the world, the things that are on the outside that want us to go a certain direction and believe certain things, so they can reach into our wallets and make us go down a certain path, so we'll buy this product or that product. And we also have to realize that we're not here because we are following a person, a human being who might be charismatic, might get up here and do jumping jacks or who knows what. And I've seen some crazy stuff. It doesn't take you far. You go to YouTube and just search on the word church service and see all the varieties that you'll come up with all over the country, all over the world, of different things that it's out of this world. Especially do it at Christmas. It's shocking what happens at Christmas. So that's something you need to think about as that's coming up again. So But I think there's a certain group of people, really, to finish this talk, that can handle that. Can you come here and be okay with not seeing a spectacle, not seeing a show? Are you okay just hearing the word? And from very unflashy people, I'm extremely unflashy. A lot of this was bought at Walmart. There's no fashion here. I'm not coloring my hair or trying to be fancy or trying to entertain anybody the way I look. Are we here to just hear the word and to just follow God and to just end up in heaven one day, which is a big thing, more than a just, but a very important thing, because that time is coming for all of us. When I guess, when that result is revealed to us, and we don't know when it's coming. And every day we get closer to it. All of us do. So hopefully we're being, we're listening to people that are taking us down the right path, and we understand that we should worship in a certain way, just as Moses told them so many years ago. Think of how long that's been a problem that needed to be discussed. I mean, a lot of the things in the Bible, you think that is almost an ancient text. It's been around for so long, and yet we're dealing with the exact same problems today they were dealing with all those years ago. The human condition just doesn't change that much. So maybe that's gratifying in some way, that gives us a connection to those who came before us, fighting the same battles we have to fight, just in slightly different ways. But I thought that was somewhat important to talk about tonight. I always think about different people and the way they worship, different friends I have, and where they go to church and what they're hearing, and those friends of mine who don't go at all and don't believe. And will you get through to them? Will you not? You don't know, but you do your best, try to be a positive example, and maybe something will prick their heart one day and make them want to go in a different direction before it's too late. If there is anybody subject to the invitation tonight, we don't want to waste time. We want to act on that. We never know when our time is coming. If you are a subject, please come forward while we stand and sing this final song.